Crap with Beth and Matt. Cut to Crap is the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast. Hey there, how are ya? We are back with another episode. This week we are talking with Toni Marinucci. Toni is a TEDx speaker and published author whose book, Once Upon a Diet, talks about the parallels between dieting and dating. That is a heavy topic for us today, so let's dive into it. So hi Toni, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. I'm really excited to be here. I love your content. Beth, like I stumbled across your TikTok like when I first joined, like maybe during the pandemic, like a year ago.
Like everybody else.
Yeah. And it's just been, I just love what you guys are. I can't do what you guys do because I'm like so sensitive to like caring what people think. But I just like appreciate you guys so much because you're literally always saying exactly what I want to say, but I just don't have the guts to do it. So I appreciate you.
I love it.
Thank you. That is honestly, that's a really good point. It's very like, I'm not trying to like make us sound amazing or anything, but it's fucking hard doing like the type of content that Beth and I do. Oh my God. It's like, it just beats
Mentally
you down.
draining.
It beats you down. Yeah.
Because you're opening yourself and exposing yourself to the people that, we know that they don't even know what they're butt from their elbows, to be honest. But like the point is that you're like allowing that in by opening up. But I appreciate you guys because it's needed. It's definitely needed.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you too. So you, Toni, you're a registered dietitian, right? Would you want to introduce yourself a little bit so we know a little bit more about you and the audience as well?
Yeah, so I am a registered dietitian. However, I'm also human, just like all of you. And I very similar to I think a lot of people who get into the health and wellness field and become professionals. I started out where I was overweight, insecure. It led down some really disordered eating patterns and behaviors. I thought restriction was the answer, and then I found out that it was actually part of the problem because I was extremely restricting, which led to overeating, which led to excessive exercise, and then I just stayed stuck in that cycle, all in this pursuit to lose weight, to eventually, be worthy of love and acceptance, and so many deep-rooted things that kind of held me back. So long story short, though, I wanted to learn how to eat and fuel. I actually was athletic growing up, even though I was always the overweight kid on the team. I still was, I played basketball, volleyball, I threw shot put and discus, and I always kept a really active lifestyle, but I always felt like my weight is what held me back from everything. I blamed it on everything. So I wanted to go to school to learn how to eat. So I went to school to become a registered dietitian. Now, fast forward many years later, and I'm going to go over a lot of like the healing journey, but I did finally heal my relationship with food. I found balance in my eating habits. I started focusing on how food made me feel instead of focusing on how it might make me look.
Yes.
And that's literally when things really changed for me. I've been a dietitian now for 8 years. My private practice, Diet Tips with Toni, we ironically teach people how not to diet and just commit to a healthier lifestyle instead. And that business has been, it's online nutrition coaching for the past, because of the pandemic, I have no idea. I think 3 or 4 years. I think it's 3 years, but it's been 2 full time. And now I have dietitians who are helping me get the women in the program to heal their relationship with food and their bodies as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love.
That's remarkable. And you, so you have I'm very intrigued by the book that you wrote. I believe it's, it's making the connection between dieting and dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Such
part
a
of your
good comparison? Honestly, I listened to your podcast with Jordan, and then also your TED Talk, and I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought to compare the two, and it's so true.
Yeah,
I love
do you want to talk about that a little bit? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So the TED Talk was something that was been on my heart for many years, although this topic hadn't been because I didn't make the connection either. But like I shared, I healed my relationship with food, but I never really healed my relationship with like when it comes to dating. And I basically dated 5 versions of the same guy, just with a different name and a different face. So basically I just repeated these old patterns and behaviors. And I went from one relationship to the next, never really learning anything in between. And then being frustrated where it would be like, why isn't this working? It's not working out. And so after I did that TED Talk, I realized I actually only had 8 minutes to speak, and 8 minutes was not enough for all that I wanted to put in there. And I was like, okay, I need to write a book because there's so many more parallels that I didn't even get to talk about in the talk. And so the book is basically because like I said before, when I was growing up overweight and insecure, I tied my weight to my worth. And I was directly told things like if I didn't lose the weight, I would never get a boyfriend. And then also just growing up in the 90s, kind of the messaging in the media and all the things that you see, I really did tie my weight to my worth. And that stayed with me even after I lost the weight. So I still was settling for men that really didn't deserve my time, energy, or intention, all because I was afraid I wouldn't potentially be able to find someone to love me back because I was carrying all this baggage from my history. And so the book is just a really great way for people to learn how to be both healthy and happy, regardless of the number on the scale and regardless of their relationship status. So it's not really just for single people. It's for anyone who's either single or dating, or you've dieted a bunch of different times and you keep doing the same diet over and over again, or it looks like a different diet, but it's just in a different book because it's all based on like, let's cut out this carb, like cut out carbs, let's cut out this food group, let's under eat, let's over exercise. Like it's all pretty much the same, but just like it has a different title or a different name. So it's really helping people to break those patterns and be more introspective and ask the right questions so that they can come out on the other end healthier, happier than ever.
Where do you feel like that everyone is so focused on a number? Where do you think that comes from? Like, I have to be a certain number. I've always wondered that, you know.
I think it's tangible. I think that it's something they can visibly see. Whereas all these other forms of measurement that we know are more important, like our energy and how we feel and our confidence, and the quality of, if we're talking about relationships, or even the quality of our food, right? All these things that actually matter, they get overlooked because it's harder to measure, right? And so I think that's probably part of it. And then the other part is just the society that we live in that has been, you know, we see that when someone loses 40 pounds, it doesn't matter how they lost it, but because they lost 40 pounds, that's somehow successful because society has said that when you lose weight or on the pursuit of weight loss or you lose weight, that's successful. But I think what I try to challenge people and what you guys do as well, like on our various platforms and in the book, is just challenge the narrative and to like really ask the right questions, because that's what, you know, diet culture wants us to believe, but that's actually not really true. If we get down to the root of it, what's actually healthy is how we take care of ourselves, how we nourish our bodies, our habits, our behaviors. You know, those are the things that truly matter. So, but I think a number, it's similar to like, you know, think about like someone in school. If you get a grade on a test, like if you get, you know, 100%, that's amazing, right? But you don't know what it took for that person to get that 100. You know, maybe they haven't been eating or sleeping, like, you know. So it's part of the story, but it's not the whole story. And so I think that's where people just want it to be, you know, clear. But we know that there's more to it than just a number.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that you said that it's tangible too. And this goes into the dating realm. So I'm single. And so one of the big things in dating is, how tall are you? What's your height? Like, as if we have any control over that anyway. But then you're automatically judged based on your height. Oh, you're a man and you're not 6 foot. I'm not even going to waste my time with you. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly kind of my point, where my book is mostly geared for women, just because I talk a lot about my story, and a lot of the clients in the program are women as well. But what we as women and in society, though, it's true, our value is based on our appearance. So like I said, you could have been told directly, unfortunately, from family members or someone that was like literally like, if you don't lose the weight, you're never going to get a promotion. You're never going to get get married or be happy or whatever. But you didn't have to be even told that directly to just be around our society, where in every movie that you watch, it's like the attractive people, quote unquote, attractive. I'm using air quotes because what society has deemed as attractive is they fit a specific body type. They're the ones who find love. And then the person who ends up in a relationship, but they're not in that ideal look, they're almost considered like lucky, like, or they have to have this incredible personality to compensate for that. And it's like, why does someone have to try so hard? Why can't we just be ourselves? You know? And so with the dating world, you know, I say that even in the introduction, like, yes, it's part of the factor because that's just the world that we live in, right? I wish we lived in a different world, but we don't, right? That's part of it. But the reality is a lot of women or men even might not be even putting themselves out there because they don't feel like their body is quote unquote ready. And that's just so sad, because to be with a partner, it shouldn't be based off of what you look like. It should be based off of, you know, who you are, your characteristics. And we as a society need to do better at placing values more so on those things rather than the, aesthetics.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That just brought something to mind, and I haven't thought about this movie and probably since I was in middle school. Shallow Hal is a perfect example of that, I think.
So glad you said that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get into the book because I had so many things. I did put a lot of different movie analogies and things in the book. But yeah, Shallow Hal, I actually was just on a podcast yesterday, and I think I talked about it because...
No, did you?
Because it's just a perfect example of how we judge people based on their appearance, and then when they don't look the way that they are, the way that we had perceived them to be, we freak out. We worried about what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Always about other people. It's like we don't...
And that's why we have to define what's important to us. And that's basically, with my book, it's called Once Upon a Diet. And I talk about the Once Upon a Diet method. It's really just a way for you to figure out what works best for you because you are unique, you're individual. Yes, there's definitely foundational things that we all, could benefit from implementing. But at the end of the day, you need to figure out what works for your lifestyle and your biology.
And I think that leads me to the question that you talk about in your TED Talk. Yes. It's the three things, can I get past the honeymoon phase? Do I even like this? And what lessons did I learn from this? I love that.
Yeah, those are great questions. Yeah, for sure. So will I last past the honeymoon phase is probably my favorite question because we live in a world of quick fixes, right? And we get super excited. And the beginning, we are motivated. So everything is kind of exciting and it's so much easier. So we're more willing to do the hard things in the beginning. But the reality is that if it's really hard in the beginning, it's going to be really hard in the long run too, right? So I prefer people to kind of start slow and ease their way up, but everyone's different. But anyways, all that to say, before you start anything, you do want to ask, will this last past the honeymoon phase? Meaning there's nothing wrong with a short-term fling. There's totally fine if you want to try to, I don't know, do a sort of some type of competition or just kind of get lean for the season or whatever that is. But you can't expect to stay there forever. And if you do, because you're probably going to be miserable and it's not really going to be healthy in the long run. And then same thing with dating. I'm very guilty of this. I'll be fully transparent. When I was single, I started dating someone and we both were I came out of a serious relationship. I didn't want anything serious. He didn't want anything serious. And we were just having fun. There's nothing wrong with a short-term fling. However, as you progress, I started catching feelings. He wasn't on the same page and our dynamic changed. So at that point, you're responsible to communicate and to say okay, this is what I want. And if they're not aligned, then stop putting yourself in a situation where you're just trying to make something work when clearly it doesn't. Right. Yeah. And so I think that's with a lot of these diets that we get so excited about. We're we love it in the beginning, but at a certain point, it might not work anymore. And it's okay to say goodbye to that. Right. Which is the second question, which is, do I even like this? So if you're doing something because, maybe it's helping you lose the weight, but you have no energy, your skin's breaking out, you're bloated all the time, you're super fatigued, whatever that is, then you don't even like it. Don't do it. You don't have to do that. If you work with Beth or Matt or myself, that there's much better ways to feel, but to get healthy and to reach your goals. You don't have to make all these sacrifices in order to get there, right? So another relationship example is, my very first relationship, it was a good relationship. It was actually not terrible, whereas my other ones were quite toxic, to be frank. This one relationship was fine, but I at one point I really had to sit with myself and be I just don't even like this really anymore. And I didn't hate it. I just still didn't like it. And so that's also enough. You don't also have to, it doesn't have to be completely miserable for you to stick with it either. It's there are better things out there. There are things that you could be doing to feel really great consistently most of the time. Right. And then the last question is, what lessons did I learn from this? And that's basically after, kind of in between, so that you don't repeat the same patterns. That's the most important question, because if you don't ask that questions, you'll be like me and date a lot of the same guys and just which
is interesting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will go back to that, but it worked for me before, but did it really work for you before? Why are you doing it again? Why would you go back to a toxic relationship,
Well, yeah, and that's because they're trying to relive the honeymoon phase. So I give the example a lot of like someone who maybe did like Weight Watchers or Whole30 or keto or whatever. And in the beginning, it actually, like I said, because it's the honeymoon phase, is exciting. It worked, quote, and I say worked lightly because people's perception of success, once again, is the number on the scale, but they're not measuring what actually matters, like their energy, their bowel movements, their performance in the gym, all of those things, right? So all that to say, we are guilty of this in relationships as we are in our nutrition, is we're trying to relive the honeymoon phase, and that's where, unfortunately, people stay stuck in situations for way longer than they need to be because they keep trying to relive it, but it's never going to be relived because it's not meant to last forever. It's not meant to last past 6 months or whatever it is, right? And so that's where people kind of get stuck. And what I like to say is, like, they're not technically wasting their time if they learn something from it, but if they never learn from it, then yeah, and frankly, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's not a mistake. It's a learning opportunity. I think it's only a mistake if you don't ask yourself that question, if you don't take anything away from it.
Right.
It's like going back to this, taking the same person back repeatedly, or going back to the same type of person. Obviously, there's a pattern there, and they're not doing anything because asking themselves that question too is hard, right? It's ugly because you're going to have to face some unpleasant truths probably about yourself or the people that you're seeing,
or the partner,
or the diet that you're doing.
The diet you're doing, right? It's like we so desperately want it to work that we ignore all the red flags, right? And so that's where we have to detach from this idea that I'll be happy when. So I'll be happy when I lose the weight, or I'll be happy when I get the girlfriend or the boyfriend, or when we get married, or when we have kids, because then it's even within the relationship. It's always like, the next thing. But we have to enjoy the journey. We have to enjoy the process. We can't rush that. That's what it's about. Because it's a lifestyle, right? Yeah. And so your unless you want a temporary relationship and you want like a temporary diet, and knowing that like after that, things are, done, then you can handle it differently. But if you really want something sustainable and long-term, then you really have to get good at assessing what's working for me and what's not. What am I making excuses for? And what can I change and shift? And that's where, both in, nutrition and relationships, it all comes down to communication. And you don't necessarily have to stop doing something if it's not working, but you might have to shift a little bit, right? If you keep trying to like, I don't know, what's a good example of this? Like trying to make like maybe socializing is like a big part of your life, but it keeps getting in the way of you maybe reaching a fat loss goal, right? And so you need to like have that conversation with yourself, like what's more important to me? And that's not to say one's right or wrong. And I'm not telling people to not socialize. What I'm saying is that, like, for example, like alcohol on the weekends tends to be like a big thing for a lot of people that gets in the way of them making progress. So it's like, okay, well, do you want we might, we don't have to eliminate it completely, but if there's something there that you are willing to kind of cut back on to get to your goals, then we'll have that conversation. But if not, then we can't keep expecting, for you to get a different result if you're not changing the behavior.
Yeah.
Insanity,
like Eric
right?
Roberts said, are your actions matching your goals?
Matching your goal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that analogy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it a lot. A lot of people want to get to wherever they want to get to, but they are having a hard time, taking the action and, making the changes that they know they need to make to get them. And they keep repeating like insanity, like Matt said, like over and over again.
And that's where and then it's just about being honest with yourself. Like, that's okay too. Everyone's different. That's the thing. You don't have to be at this certain number or this certain even pant size or whatever it is, as long as you're being honest with yourself and there's some sort of balance and consistency and, you're taking care of yourself in some way. The level at which, that you implement things is going to be different based off of what you want and what your goals are.
Yeah, those goals too, they also need to be realistic goals and sustainable, smart goals, right? Especially like if somebody comes to me and says, I want to lose, I need to lose 20 to 30 pounds or so. That's usually my first question is like, why? Like, do you think losing that weight, you mentioned this earlier, do you think losing that weight is going to make you happy? it probably won't make you happy, right? So we can focus on trying to be happy now rather than waiting until we get some end result, which is just going to cure everything. As we know, that's not going to happen. So doing the things you enjoy in the meantime, being happy, being strong, being healthy, and then maybe weight loss happens as a result of that. Maybe it doesn't, but you'll be happy. You'll hopefully be healthy and strong.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, that confidence that they're looking for that's 30 pounds later isn't from being 30 pounds later. It's from committing to what you said you were going to do and following through with it, which is a lot easier to do when you have small, sustainable goals.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So small, sustainable goals. People, and that's something I hear a lot of too, is like, I just feel like I'm not doing enough. And then it's like, doing enough for what, right? Like I'm not in the gym exercising, killing myself 5 or 6 days a week. It just doesn't feel like enough. I'm like, well, good. Has that worked for you up to this point? No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
So go on a 10-minute walk every day. Let's start there. I go back to the 10-minute walk so much, but that's that small, sustainable thing that we can do every day. And it's not an inconvenience. And then you can start stacking on top of that. And
yeah. And it's simple. And you guys know, like, a 10-minute walk, often it's like just getting started. And whether you stop at 10 or keep going, I promise you that your mood will be so different. So it's not even, and that's where when it comes to certain things like even movement and nutrition, and sleep and all the things that we encourage in a healthy lifestyle, yeah, it might help with like your appearance or you might feel better or whatever. But the more important thing is like, you're gonna be happier, because I'm sorry, but like if I don't get a good enough sleep, I'm a cranky pants. If I don't see the sun or if I don't get outside or fresh air for 10 minutes, I get a headache. Like I think we need to really focus more on like wellness goals and overall just like, let's just like take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We have one body. It's a beautiful thing. We don't have to stress it and kill it and punish it and be perfect with it, but we do need to care for it and nourish it in the way that we can. And like a little bit of vitamin D from a 10-minute walk is like actually not just, and that's why I talk a lot, it's like, it's not just 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes is like making use of the little time you had. And that 10 minutes could have saved you a day of binging. It could have saved you a day of just like beating yourself up for just staying on the couch. It could have saved you, maybe now that motivated you, like, you know what? Oh, I'm going to stop by the store and pick up some veggies and go home and prep them because I don't have any, like whatever it is. Or you listen to a podcast like this for 10 minutes. Like, there's so many great things that come from these little things that get so overlooked.
Oh, totally. That's the thing. If people just realize they would feel better if they just do something small, like take a 10-minute walk just for their, mindset.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing I talk about a lot when it comes to health. It's not just your physical health, but it's also your mental health. And I think that's where a lot of people miss out, because if you're solely focused on your physical health, chances are your part of your mental health will be compromised. And even with your mental health, like it's a great thing to do, all of the beautiful things like meditation and journaling and going to therapy and dealing with your heels and your wounds and all that. But if you're not eating well and moving your body and getting adequate sleep, like you're not technically going to be healthy, right? Because health is true. The true definition of health is taking care of your physical needs and your mental, emotional, and spiritual needs as well.
It's all encompassing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a huge aspect to what we do in my coaching program is we have a behavioral nutritionist on the team where all she does is she's a cognitive behavioral therapist, right? So all she does is she's there just to help people with that healthy relationship with food and movement in their body. And ever since her and I started working together, it's like that was the missing piece for me in my coaching, And she's not there to help you with fat loss. That's not what she cares about. It's the other stuff. It's mental health and physical health.
That's amazing. Yeah. You need that as a solid foundation. You need that. And that goes back to like where I think so many people are going to like complexity and like trying to do so much more when really they don't even have the solid foundations.
Yeah.
You can't really do anything until your relationship with food is healed, because you will consistently go back to old patterns. You'll always feel like it's not enough. And it's just not a fun place to be. So I strongly encourage people. It seems like a long time, but honestly, if you work with a nutrition professional, like our program's 6 months. In 6 months, our job isn't to help you to get to the lean, mean machine. Our job is to help you heal your relationship with food, make peace with your body. And then if you decide after that, you do whatever you want for your body because it's your body and you can truly choose to do what you want with it. We're not telling you what to do with it. At the same time, a lot of this idea and concept of, punishing it and trying to get it super lean, it's not coming from you, it's coming from society. But if you can truly like make peace with all of that and decide like, no, I want to do this for me because I truly know that I can and I want to, like, go for it. Like, I want you to do whatever you want to do. I just want to make sure it's coming from a place where it's genuinely for you and not trying to prove yourself to somebody else. Because I got caught up in that. I was trying to prove myself to everyone who told me I was never enough and that, I would never get a boyfriend or like all the things. Even being as a registered dietitian, I felt like I needed to look the part, quote unquote, therefore I wasn't lean enough or whatever. And I got so caught up in that and it was exhausting. It was literally exhausting and it never felt like it was enough. And so when I finally made peace with that, I realized, you know what? I'm just going to do what I need to do for me. And one thing I say a lot to our clients is the more you love your decisions, the less you need others to love them. So I just got really good at loving my choices and loving my decisions and just trusting that this is what my body needs. And so my workouts, I used to work out. I love fitness. So I was like 6-7 days in the gym, but I loved it. But now I still like it, but my energy is just not there anymore. And that's okay. I still work out regularly and consistently. It's just not at the intensity it used to be, and my nutrition is not as rigid as it was before, but it's free and flexible and and now my body changed a little bit, but that's okay, because I feel like this is where I'm most comfortable out and I feel my best in it and I don't have to try so hard all the time to sustain it,
That's exhausting,
It is really exhausting. So I want to focus on other things outside of just nutrition and food. I want to build my business. I want to help people. I want to get on more podcasts. I want to like socialize and have fun. I don't want to always be worrying about what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, and when I'm going to work out.
Yeah. And I've been there too, doing the fitness and getting super lean and things like that because you think that's what you should be doing and that's what others expect of you. Or when I lose 20 pounds or get those 6-pack abs, then dating's going to be easier, or I can get that dream girl or whatever. I've been there.
I'll get more clients.
Or I'll get more clients. Yeah. That's something I'm not shredded. I hear that often on TikTok. Oh, you're just fat, or you got a dad bod and this and this and this, And what do you know? How are you teaching people these things? Yeah, it's fucking awful.
I hate some of the people on TikTok.
We can talk about that probably for hours, honestly, but it's so toxic.
I think that's it. Yeah.
It's so toxic. It's just
let's get into that a little bit, I guess.
I'm sorry that happened for you.
Nice little segue. I know it's all good.
About the thing that if you don't look the part, then you don't know what you're talking about type stuff. Right. That is just it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And that's what we're trying to do is change the way people think and perceive fitness and health and nutrition, right? Because that there's people that are super shredded, super lean that aren't healthy whatsoever because you don't know, like you said, with getting that A+ 100% on their test, you don't know what they've done to achieve that physique. Maybe they're on performance enhancing drugs. Maybe they're.
I was gonna say, like in college, a lot of people I know would take things like Adderall and stuff to stay awake to study. Like that's not good for your body. So you got 100, but you're damaging your body in the pursuit of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So hopefully that changes.
I hope so too. I got a comment from someone more recently. It was and you always have to remember, this is just for those who are listening, where is the source coming from? Like when someone comments on your body, whether it be social media or even in person, we're recording this right around the holidays. It can be really uncomfortable with family members. They might look at you a certain way. Maybe you gained weight during COVID and now you're getting comments about it. And it's just so inappropriate. So I wish we just had like this, everybody understood to not comment on people's bodies because you really have no idea what that person's going through. I know someone who unfortunately had got cancer, lost a ton of weight, did not want to, was dying, and was getting compliments of how great she looked when physically she was in just like the worst place in her entire life, and she wouldn't wish that on anyone. So you never know. I also have someone that we're working with that was really struggling with depression, anxiety and depression, finally found medication that really, really, really helped her. And sometimes those side effects are weight gain. And so she's getting comments that she looks like crap because she gained all this weight from family that they're saying, but she's never been like, she can finally think. Like, she never used to be able to get through a day, So it's like, we have to stop commenting on people's bodies, first of all. And then second of all, we need to figure out like who is the source. And really, some things are just not worth your time and energy, whereas sometimes they might be a great teaching opportunity. So I've definitely have gotten comments from trolls on the internet. One was a quote unquote nutritionist from India trying to sell me supplements and told me that he has something for me for my belly. Unsolicited advice. Like, I didn't like, and like, clearly their motive was to sell me something. Right. So you have to be careful of that stuff. And then obviously from family members, often I usually tell people that if they're commenting on your body, think about it. When you're happy, are you judging somebody else? Are you bullying somebody else? No. Right. So when someone is criticizing your body, it's because they themselves like have something going on where they really believe that their body is like, maybe their body's not where it wants to be or it should be, or they have insecurities or whatever it is, but that's their stuff. So it's a lot harder to do in family dynamics. But if you could just practice separating and understanding that it actually has nothing to do with you, but more so to do with what they're going through, that's what we call projection. It will definitely help you eventually detach, but it takes time. It definitely takes time to really learn.
Do you have any tips for people? Like, let's say we're during the holidays, like people are going to be at gatherings and whatnot with family. For situations like that, when someone does comment or even say something to your face, do you have anything that you tell your clients to like say back or
it
strategies?
So obviously, like everyone, it depends on the dynamic and what they feel most comfortable with. So that's why I think one-to-one care is so helpful, because you can really understand like what's going on. But general recommendations, I actually just gave did like a body confidence challenge. It was like a 5-day series. And that was like one day we talked all about that. And for just general tips, I give one thing I say is to like, before that event, if you know you're going to an event where you're probably going to get a comment, you need to like create that morning as like your sanctuary. Like, you really have to just like, don't go into that super stressed and like running from A to B. Like, you have to create some space, maybe some journaling or meditation, or just like, and make sure you're fully fed, because when we're hangry, it's just so much harder. And really just kind of decide how you want to be. And this is actually a therapist taught me. My therapist taught me how to do this, because sometimes that's where things kind of get interwebbed. But she basically encouraged me to think about, how do I want to be when I go into these situations? Because family can be easily triggering. So whether it's directly a comment about your body or food, or more so has nothing related, but you are anxious, so there and you're now around food and then you emotionally eat, it's really important for you to just have that conversation with yourself and just kind of say like, okay, if I get a comment, how do I want to be? How do I want to respond? Do I want to be passive? Do I want to be neutral? Do I want to be combative? Do I want to practice saying something like, thank you, but no thank you, or like, or say, I'd rather not talk about that. Have like things in your toolbox about like other conversations, things that you could talk about when it's not around your body. So it could be as simple as when someone comments on your body. It could be also too, there's these things, they're like backwards compliments, right? Maybe now you're going into a social situation, you lost some weight, and maybe you're working with Beth or Matt and you did it in a very healthy and sustainable way, right? And so it's not like, actually, like technically, it's not like you're doing negative ways to get there, but it's still uncomfortable. And now you have this expectation to now they're watching my body, now they're watching my progress, and I have to stick with it, and now no longer coming from you. So when you go into those situations, kind of think about, if they're going to comment on my body, whether positive or negative, you decide how you want to respond. So you could say something like, thank you, I feel really good. And then they might ask, oh, what are you doing? Like, I rather not talk about it, if you don't want to talk about it. Or you can just say, I'm just, watching what I eat, or whatever, however you want to respond. But you have to kind of decide how you want to respond. And then if something really happens where it really triggers you, it's okay to excuse yourself. It's okay for you to go to the bathroom. It's okay to just kind of recenter. And you could always have a conversation prior to or after with whoever that person is, to let them know, like, listen, I'd rather us not talk about like dieting, or I'd rather not talk about food, because it just makes me uncomfortable. I hope you can respect that. And hopefully the person is receptive to that. And if they're not, that just tells you a lot about that person, and you might need to distance yourself from them even more.
Yeah.
Perfect. Beautifully said. That's Beth and I actually did a quick impromptu episode last week about eating around the holidays, and we touched kind of on a lot of those similar points. And you said it much better than I ever could have. But especially the last point, it says a lot about that person, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Somebody that's happy isn't going to make those comments.
Yeah, definitely not. Or maybe they're just like kind of in their own, maybe, you know, and you can tell if someone's like genuinely curious, or if like they're being, you know, passive aggressive or whatever it is. Like, you
Or
can
they have a hidden agenda. Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious. And then when you know it's a hidden agenda, you just remember it's nothing to do with you. It's just like their own stuff. Mm-hmm.
Now that's very easy to say though, right? Like it's easy to say, for us to sit here and say that it's nothing to do with you, but people still struggle with that. So like what do you have any techniques, like any type of maybe journaling or maybe working with a professional or something to help us actually understand that?
Yeah, well, I would say it goes back to that saying I shared before, like the more you love your decisions, the less you need others to love them. So I wouldn't spend so much time trying to understand that other person. Honestly, I think that's just a waste of energy. You can if you really feel like you need to, but the most important thing that I want people to do, and that's what I teach all the time, is just figuring out what you need for you. Because when you're so clear and confident that what you're doing is working, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Think about it in like, if you decide to leave your full-time job and you're building your business and your business is thriving and they might not understand it. It's like, well, I'm doing what I need to do for me and it's freaking awesome. You know,
right?
Like, you know, it's like, so I'm trusting this process, like, thank you, but no thank you. Like, I'm good. Right. So that's where sometimes people aren't going to understand. So I think you just have to kind of accept that you can't please everyone, you know, and you really just need to kind of lean in getting very clear on what's most important to you and making sure that your actions that you're taking on a daily basis are aligned with that. And not even just in nutrition and like, you know, movement and healthy lifestyle stuff, but just in general. Like, if you're someone who enjoys kind of quality time with your loved ones, like, are you spending quality time with your loved ones, right? Or are you kind of spending time with people that make you not feel really good, right? And so, yeah, I would just say it really comes down to setting those boundaries and doing things that make you feel good and staying aligned with those rather than putting yourself in situations where you really just don't like or don't know how to navigate. Get stronger. It's like kind of building the muscle, like get stronger in the gym, right? And then like go to battle. So like maybe you need to distance yourself from certain family members for a bit until you just like get really clear on like, yeah, like, okay, no, I'm actually okay actually when I do this or when I go here, when I do that. And so therefore I don't need to keep putting myself in this situation to get unclear again.
Yes, and I love that you mentioned the boundaries too. The boundaries are so important. It's easy to have boundaries, but then enforcing those boundaries is what's really difficult too, especially when it comes to family members and friends and those ones close to us.
That's why you have to start small, you know? And one thing when this is in relationships, romantic or regular, or anyone really, where I used to get so caught up and I would change what I would say because I was worried about how the person was going to respond. Like, so I wasn't being true to myself because my answers were always worrying about how somebody else was going to feel, like how they were going to take it. Right. And so what I learned in therapy, which is basically like, I'm not responsible for how other people are going to feel and respond. And I can't control that or know that. So imagine me now trying to navigate like, you know, where, you know, whether to go to this event or not, or what to say or what to do when I don't even know what I need or what I want because I'm so used to always catering to what other people want and needs, right? So I didn't overnight become like this person who's like confident in their food choices and is able to just be like, thank you, but no thank you when you comment on my food or my body. Like, it took a lot of time, and it started with like a small no, like a no thank you, like a small no thank you, or I wish I could, but I can't, right? Which led to me finally getting really clear on like, you know what, actually, like, I rarely ever can because I rarely ever want to. And Like, I'm actually like, now that I've stopped saying yes all the time to when you need me to do X, Y, or Z, I realize I actually don't need to do that at all. And so they might be disappointed and relationships might change, but when you are finally feeling whole and energized and clear, you don't really care that much. You start to realize like, oh wow, I'm making the best choices I need to for me.
Yeah, it's I feel you. It's like a light bulb moment. It's like once you start saying no to the shit that you just don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, start saying no to the shit you don't want to do.
And
my coach on my team actually said something last week to me. I was really struggling with some stuff in the business with like direction on what I wanted to do because I was spreading myself so thin across like social media platforms and things like that. And she's like, Matt, do you want to do this? And then she's like, it's like fuck yes or fuck no. And she said, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a fuck no. Like if the first thing that comes to your mind is not a fuck yes, then don't even waste your time. And I was like, wow, that actually really helps me put it into perspective, 100%. So that's kind of my new thing going forward. If I'm not excited about it, if it's not something I actually want to put my time, energy, or money towards, I'm just not gonna do it. And call me selfish, but you have to serve yourself or else you can't help others anyway. So
100%.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Love that.
That's my motto as well, Matt. So
that's why we're here.
I love it.
For real.
And the boundaries too, you when you say no, you don't have to actually explain why, right? Like, you don't owe anybody that explanation. It can just be no. Like if you feel like you want to tell them like, no, I don't want to do it, this is why, or just no, that should be okay as well. We normalize saying no.
Yeah, totally. And so certain people might not love that answer, but you learn to be okay with it. Because for some people, certain family dynamics, it's like never enough.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience. So when you say no, they ask why not. And you just have to learn to just be like, because I can't, or because I don't want to, or however you want to say it. You just have to learn to be straightforward because there are some people that will push and you just get really clear on I just can't. Sorry. Wish I could. Can't.
Some dynamics might change because of that, right? Maybe you might lose some friends as a result of that too. But if you're gonna lose friends because you're saying no to them,
to take care of yourself,
were they actually a friend anyway, or were you just there to serve them or to be their doormat essentially too? That could have also been what's going on.
Totally. Yeah, and as you start to kind of wake up to who you are and who you want to be and finally like working towards it, you probably will lose some friends and like dynamics and relationships will change, but it's to be a better version of you. So the result of that makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. It's all worth it because then you've got the lifestyle that you're after. You're not constantly miserable and second guessing yourself. So yeah, I love that. When was your book released then? How long has that been out?
I got out in the beginning of October, I think it was.
Okay.
In October. So about 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's a baby. It's a baby. So so I'm excited about it. I'm starting.
So exciting! Congrats on that. Seriously.
Thank you.
I know that can't have been an easy thing to write a book.
It was not easy at all. It was really the hardest thing I've ever did, for real. I've done some hard things.
What did you learn from that? What did you learn from that process of writing a friggin' book, man?
Oh man. Oh my God.
Probably learned a lot about yourself, I'm sure.
I learned a lot about myself. I've learned that I actually get in my own way a lot. I've also learned that as much as I feel like in society, it looks like I've challenged myself in ways in my career and what I've chosen for my life. Personally, I know deep down, I haven't even scratched the surface of what I'm capable of. And so this was something that was brand new for me. I never really considered myself a writer. I didn't know the first thing about writing a book. But like anyone in the beginning, it's super exciting. You have this great idea. I mean, I thought about quitting 1,000 times, but I can compare it to how I would with like a healthy lifestyle. Is really just I had to stop getting caught because I kept getting stuck. I would sit down to write, nothing would come out. I'm like, what am I doing? Who am I? Who's even going to read this? All that, those negative self-talk would come in. And I was reminded that it's because I'm a beginner. I've never done this before. And this is how our clients feel when they first start working with us, right? So it's not easy because it's the beginning. But if I give up, then I know that I'm always going to be like, but what if? And why didn't I? And, but like, I can, like, it's hard, but I got the resources, right? I hired a writing coach. I had ironically, somebody who graduated from the program happened to be an editor, so she helped me with the editing, which was super cool. Nice. You know, I had people. I'm, you know, fortunate to know a lot of people in like with online businesses who've written books before, so I had great advice, just like messaging people back and forth. So I didn't go at it alone. I couldn't have. If I tried to do it alone, I wouldn't have written it, and it also wouldn't have been very good. Like, this book is actually really good. Like, and I say that with pride because it was really hard for me, but I really worked on my writing skills. When I hired that writing coach, my writing coach basically told me, before we could even start writing the book, we got to just get you to become a better writer, you know? And so that alone was a hard process. But now that I've been at it consistently, it took me like 2 years to write the thing.
How long did it take?
Yeah, like 2 years. And so, I mean, it's really good. I'm really proud of it. Like, because I put in the work. I put in the work. I showed up when I didn't want to. Trust me, there were days I would wake up at 5 a.m. you know, because I would never do it in the middle of the day. Life would happen. I made all these excuses. So I was like, all right, I'm going to write in the morning. I would just like stare at my screen for 2 hours, just like watch the clock come. You know, like there was so many times where I was like, when is this ever going to be finished? This process is forever. But now that it's done and over with, I'm so grateful and so glad. And now so many people are changing their lifestyle and their perspective because of it. So it really is all worth it. So for those of you who are beginners in your life's health, in like a healthy lifestyle and trying to figure out your goals and reaching them, like, I get you, I understand it's very overwhelming, but we're not meant to do these things alone. So get help. If you feel like you need it, reach out to someone that resonates with you, that you connect with, because they have been where you're at. They're past it. They can help you get there faster and without a lot of the frustration. It's still going to be frustrating. Like, trust me, I was still frustrated a lot of the times, but it was a whole lot less frustrating because I wasn't guessing, what do I do next? Or how do I do this? I had people I could depend on to help me to figure it out.
Yeah. I believe that everybody can benefit from having a coach or a mentor of some sort, you know. Of course, there's a financial aspect of it, which I get it. But even if you're financially constrained, there's other avenues you can go down. Free offers, free resources out there. I know, like, everybody, you know, if you're an online coach or whatever, everybody's got free things that they give out. Our videos, our content, everything.
Yeah, definitely. And when there's a will, there's a way. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Will you be writing another book?
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. No.
Okay.
Not anytime soon.
You know what I learned? This is something else I learned. Because, you know, I self-published. So, and
that's the way to go, actually.
Yeah, which I guess it's because it's more your voice and all that stuff. But what I learned was that those who have like these big publishers, and not everyone, but most of them, I'll never forget. I'm part of a mastermind. And I will, oh my God, this is such a great story. Because I was sitting there and we had this guest expert come in who's like a multimillionaire and like giving us advice and like, how do we build our businesses and blah, blah, blah. And someone in the group is currently writing a book. And so he asked the guest, he said, you know, I'm writing a book, like, any advice, like, what am I getting myself into? Like, I'd love to hear your thoughts and your perspective because I know you wrote a book. And so he basically shared how, you know, when the publishers came, they just asked me a bunch of questions and I had to go back and I had to explain and I had to tell them everything about my whole life and going all that to say, like, basically he didn't write the book. Someone wrote it for him. They just interviewed him. And so I learned that I did not know this, that most of the books that you guys read, not to discredit the people who have these great bestsellers and all that stuff, they didn't actually write them. Someone wrote them for them. So it's their story. But it's like so much more common than you think. Like, and so I did not know that. And I was like, Oh, so not everybody actually writes them. Interesting.
I think they're called ghostwriters.
Ghostwriters. You can have two things. You can have a ghostwriter. So a ghostwriter could be like someone where they write for you and it makes it like you don't know who wrote it or whatever. And then I think it's the same thing. I don't know if there's like a different term for it both in two different. I'm thinking of like two different ways it would be done. But yeah, basically, yeah. And a lot of these people don't write their books. And actually, my I can't say legally, but I know a few. My writing coach wrote them, so
yeah, sure. And that actually is very similar to how the fitness industry operates too. Actually, like especially with larger accounts and larger influencers and things like that, that they're not actually the ones behind the scenes. They're just the
making their posts and stuff
and doing the posts and recording the videos, and you might think you're working with them, but you're actually not. They've got an outsourced team somewhere doing these things. That's very fucking prevalent in the fitness industry.
That's sad to me.
The deeper I dive into online coaching and more I grow my business, I get approached all the time from business coaches like, I can help you scale to 50K, 100K months and this and this and this. And you're going to outsource this and outsource this and outsource this. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to be doing? Like, I actually enjoy coaching. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy doing those things. But I'm also not here to get rich off of people either. So there's that. So
I would feel like a sham.
Yeah.
It gets a little crazy in the fitness, nutrition, MLM, certain just business models, all the business coaches that just, had a business for 6 months and now they claim to be a business coach. Like there's a lot of them out there that are charging a lot of money, where it's just like some are great and some really will move the needle for you. But then there's just so many, just like with nutrition coaches and dietitians, and like sometimes you get the bad apple, but
there's a gray
lot
area
of them out there. Yeah, it's so hard. So that's why for anybody who's listening, like as we're talking about getting help, and it's important, make sure you're getting help from someone that you trust, that you followed for a long time, or, something that they said really resonated, or, you maybe even saw someone go through the program and was successful with that. And, whatever it is, make sure that their values are aligned with yours. Cause I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Absolutely.
I love that. Toni, where can people find you on social media? The best way to contact you, your book, even where can they, if they're interested in checking out your book, your TED Talk, anything?
Yeah. So my book is available on Amazon. You can get the paperback Kindle version or audio version. And you can contact me on Instagram. That's where I hang out the most, at tips _ Toni with an I. And what else did you ask? Message me there. Yeah, email me, tipswithtoni@gmail.com. A lot of my information is there. I feel like you asked me something else and I completely am blanking. So, but that's where you can contact
I think that was it.
I think that was good, right? I was like, did I say all the places?
I mean, you gave us you had an amazing
my TED Talk.
And a lot of good information. And
it's in the bio. Yeah, sorry.
It's in the bio. Perfect.
That was really good. I would suggest listening.
I want people to reach out to you. I hope people take advantage of you being on the episode with us and
please ask any questions you have. Yeah, I'm here for you. We have a team of dietitians. If you want to heal your relationship with food, you can apply to that program. We have courses, all the things. Just reach out. I'll point you in the right direction.
Amazing.
Ooh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Toni. It's been amazing. It was such a pleasure meeting you.
Such a pleasure meeting you too.
For sure.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right. So that was, I'm so happy that Toni came on. Before when you first said that she was going to come on, and I never made that connection between dieting and dating. And the minute you mentioned it, I was like, holy shit, that makes so much sense.
I know. And when I listened to her TED Talk and stuff, I was like, oh my God. It's such a good analogy, to be honest. And those 3 questions that she asks that, it's just like dating.
Yep.
Can you get, like, if you're going to do a diet, like you got to ask yourself, can I get past the honeymoon phase? Do I even like this? And it's like, what did I learn from what I just did? And then therefore you can look back and make sure you don't do it again if it's something that just didn't work. It's like, why step in shit again?
Yeah, exactly. Stop getting burned by the same shit every time. Like when you touch the hot stove and you get burned by the hot stove, you're probably not going to do it again. So let's stop getting burned.
You don't put back on a dirty diaper, you know?
Yes.
I don't even know where that came from, but
no, I love it. You better trademark that really quickly.
So put on a dirty diaper.
So awesome. Lord. Yeah, I was super excited and super happy with how that conversation went.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking forward to taking in more of her content now that we follow each other and we've connected.
Yeah, definitely. I really like her a lot.
I hope our followers and listeners and everything, they take advantage of that as well. Yeah. How was side note? How was your holiday?
It was really relaxing.
Yeah.
Really relaxing. Good. Yeah.
You need it. You deserve it.
Yes, for sure. I can't wait, honestly, to go to Florida for a month.
1 month. Oh my gosh.
30 days. We're going to be going to Cocoa Beach and then Key West. And
Key West. Yes. I was just there. Yeah, literally. I only spent 1 day in Key West, which isn't long enough, but
right.
I was kind of bouncing all over.
I imagine it's super beautiful.
It is. And you're doing that in when, January or
February? Not
okay.
soon enough. Yeah.
Are you still working during that, or are?
I'm gonna have to. I'll have a new round of group coaching starting February 1st. But I think I'm going to not take many phone calls during that. Maybe no sales calls, but I will still be. Yep. I'll still be working. I'll still be doing like the podcast and all that stuff.
Cut the crap with Beth and Matt live from Key West. Oh, I would be super jealous. I would probably I'd fly down just to record that episode with you because
I would like have all this set up, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But I am doing I have a professional fitness photography thing going on at the end of right before I leave. So I'm doing like a mini cut. I don't think you saw that on Instagram.
I did, yeah.
Just and I'm doing this for education purposes as well. I don't think I've been in a cut for honestly since 2020. So it's been a while. And it's not even like I have much to lose at all. And I'm trying to show people that it's the scale. I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on inches lost, and I'm doing this for a specific reason. And I just actually want people to know that what I'm doing, like, you don't have to don't copy what I'm doing. I'm getting a lot of DMs from people asking me, why are my calories this much? Because I'm the same height as you and
Oh,
it's
gosh.
like we all are different. Yeah, we're all different. Don't copy what I'm doing. It's just
it's like what Toni just said earlier. Everybody's different. Everybody's physiology is different, and I think that would be a very good podcast episode for us. But sorry.
Yeah, I actually had to make a statement because I was getting so many DMs with like just odd questions. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to document this if you guys are going to get to this point of being so like, ask me these details that really like what my height is, or, you know, just things that's like, you don't need to know that. Why do you need to know that?
You're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. That's what they need. That's all they need to know.
You know? So I just, you know, people need to realize that, you know, stop comparing yourself to somebody else. Stop trying to do what someone else is doing. It's not going to work for you. You're not going to look the same as somebody else, or, you know, saying that I don't need to lose weight. Yeah, I know that. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for aesthetic reasons to look a certain way for a photo shoot. I'm going to go right back into maintenance after. So,
which is how it should be. You can't be in a friggin' fat loss phase, a calorie deficit forever. It's not meant to be that way.
Right. And I don't have any professional fitness photos. And when I did a cut like 2 years
I don't
ago,
either.
I should have done them then, but we were in the middle of a pandemic. So I was like, you know, what am I going to do now? Like, screw it. It's 2 years later and I have the chance to get these done. I'm like, I want to feel and look my best, and then move forward.
I've actually been toying with the idea of going into an intentional fat loss phase myself. I just don't know it doesn't serve me. So I go back to that. Is it a fuck yes or fuck no thing? Right now, it's still a fuck no for me. But the thought has been creeping back into my head a little bit more. Not for any reason other than just because I want to, and I think that's what matters right there. I'm not doing it because I'm getting shit on social media. I'm not doing it because I think I need to be super lean. And I wouldn't even do it to a point where I'm super lean, honestly. Just I would use it like you're doing it as a educational
get in and get out
experiment, and get in, get out, and move the fuck on.
And I think what people don't realize too is like I've already like lost the majority of my weight. I'm at a certain point now where it's just like body recomposition. And, I have some questions like, will you be eating fast food and doing this? It's like, it's only 8 weeks. Okay. Like I literally, like, to me, it's the calories aren't worth a Big Mac. It's not something that is even doesn't even bother me. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe I have a Big Mac. I'm choosing just to make my own food because it's 8 weeks. It's not very many calories and it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
But if I was to want one, I'll fucking get one. But
Right. Yeah. If you want to fucking eat it, yeah, for sure. But you're not telling yourself, no, you can't have it. That's the important thing right there. You just don't want it. I mean, that's fine. That's fine.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. This has been a great episode. I love it. I love the episode with Toni. I love the little after talk we're doing here. So
thank you, Toni.
Yes. Thank you, Toni, once again. So everybody make sure you follow her. Toni tips with _Toni with an I is what it was, I believe. And I'll make sure that that's right in the notes, but pretty sure that's it. So amazing.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see you later, Beth.
See you later.
And that is a wrap for this episode of Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. Did we help you cut through the bullshit? We want to know. Send us a DM on Instagram and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. And if you did find this one helpful, why not share this episode with a friend? I know I personally love it when a friend shares their favorite podcast with me, along with a text saying, oh my God, you have got to check out this podcast. You'll love it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes.